It's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, on top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
It's a Tuesday, everybody. That can only mean one thing. It's Top Hit Tuesday here on ZiFM Sport. Welcome to it on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZiFM Stereo. The team is here. Mike is here. Chris is here. Sean is here to produce the show as he does every single weekday from 5 after 6 down to 7 p.m. And my name is Barry. On the home front, Dynamos coach Tunderai says the coming on board of several corporates to partner the team will help Glamour Boys reclaim their former glory as the Harare Giants unveiled a $300,000 kit deal yesterday. We'll hear the thoughts of the studio team on that development at the Glamour Boys Chazunguza. In international sports news, we have our staple, that is the Formula One report, proudly brought to you by Zimoco, where Ferrari Formula One team principal Mattia Binotto says his outfit's recent uplift in form is an encouraging sign about its chances of furthering progress in 2021.
We'll have plenty of international sports news for you in Around the World in 60, starting in Australia, where All Blacks assistant coach John Plumtree says his players are being deliberately provoked during practice to improve their discipline ahead of Saturday's grudge match against Argentina. In news out of England, Andy Murray says off-court distractions may be the reason why world number one Novak Djokovic has stopped making good decisions on court recently. And we'll touch down in South Africa, where the Proteas are training in two groups before their limited overs matches against England to limit the risk of further coronavirus infections.
It's Top Hit Tuesday, so midway through the show, you can look forward to a track that is topping the charts at the moment. We'll then get into the beautiful game, starting off in the Premier League, where Theo Walcott rolled back the years with his first Southampton goal in 15 years, but was denied victory as Pedro Neto earned Wolves a 1-1 draw at Molineux. In La Liga, Athletic Club extended their winning run at St. Mamés to 3 straight games with a 4-0 victory over Real Betis last night. Being a Tuesday, of course, we'll also dip into France, where Lyon coach Rudy Garcia says Warriors forward Tino Kadewere is starting to show his true predatory qualities in Ligue 1. There's also UEFA Champions League action tonight as Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer conceded his side cannot afford another off night against Istanbul Başakşehir if they're to reach the round of 16.
So all of that and so much more to look forward to in this edition of ZiFM Sport. First, our power play. This is called One More Dance. It's by Rehab and a leader.
The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis. From Rufaro to Barberfield, Mandava to Nyamunga, all the perfect moments in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League come together on ZiFM Sport.
Or you can catch us on social media at ZiFM Sport. And if you missed the show, you can always catch it on YouTube. And also, you can check out our back catalogue as well of shows that you may not have heard in the past few weeks and months. That's why our YouTube channel exists. It is at ZiFM Sport. Each of us are on social media, all the platforms, at Sean Tafirenyika, at Chris Midzi, at Mike Madoda, and of course at Barry Manandi. All right, let's get after it. And we start on the home front, and the story we are talking about has to do with the most successful team in the country. That's of course Dynamos Football Club. Now their coach Tunderai Ndiraya says the coming on board of several corporates to partner the team will help the Glamour Boys reclaim their former glory as the Harare Giants unveiled a $300,000 kit deal yesterday. The Glamour Boys signed a 3-year kit sponsorship deal with a UK-based sports equipment and apparel manufacturer, On The Ball Looks. The deal follows the 5-year sponsorship they entered with anchor sponsors Gold Leaf Tobacco under its Remington Gold brand in February 2019. Let's hear from Dynamos chairman Isaiah Mfurutsa.
We are finding more and more partners warming up to the Dynamos brand. And today, we are unveiling our new kit sponsors.
Z.
All right, so Dynamos has onboarded a technical partner. These are the things that we were waiting for, Michael, and they seem to be bearing fruit, as it were, because Dynamos has unveiled. Now we wait for the proof of the pudding, which is in the eating, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely, Barry. I think as far as the announcement goes, I think we can only congratulate Dynamos and say that it's a step in the right direction. It's something that's been long overdue, that the country's biggest, best supported team, most successful team did not have a technical partner, or at least was on an on and off relationship with many technical partners over the last 2 decades. I think was a source of embarrassment to Zimbabwe football. So this move to get on board on the ball using the Lux Sportswear brand is something that will be commended, and it's something that I think will excite Dynamos fans, but there'll also be a section of Dynamos fans who are skeptical, because this is not the first technical sponsorship that has been announced by Dynamos in recent years. We saw the announcement with Raw a couple of years ago. Before that, the late Edzai Kasinawuyo brought in the Adidas brand. And so these are sponsorships and technical partnerships that have been announced with even bigger and more fanfare than this current announcement. Bigger numbers quoted, Barry. This one, they're talking about 300,000 over the course of 3 years, which is 100,000 US dollars. The other deals that are announced in previous years were probably bigger, but we never saw Dynamos realize the benefits of those technical partnerships. So this is my hope, Barry, it is my hope that Dynamos will be able to realize some meaningful benefit from this association with On The Ball.
Well, Mike talks about there the fanfare that preceded the previous announcements, and also there were brands that we certainly know more about, like Adidas, that Mike mentioned under the late Edzai Kasinawuyo, Chris. The Lux brand, we don't really know much about, but just looking at some of the samples that were on display at the launch yesterday, there's quite a bit to be excited about for Dynamos fans, certainly from a Lux perspective, pardon the pun.
I think you meant that pun intentionally. I think from a looks perspective, in terms of the actual kit itself, the designs that they have, there was also a sneak peek that was done by Dynamos on social media as well. And we got to see a little bit of what the kit is going to look like, have some sort of view of what fans can look forward to. And what I can definitely say is that the kit looks good. And I think very often, I think we get these partnerships and there's questions around the quality of the kit, there's questions around what the fans are going to have. And this time, I think we can safely say that Dynamos is actually going to be looking good. They've done a good job in terms of some of the designs that we've seen, and also just the quality itself. I think it's quality that's fitting of the Dynamos brand.
Indeed. Now, the new partnership will see the England-based sportswear manufacturer supplying Dynamos with playing kits, training kits, traveling gear, club replicas, which is a big cry from fans, and of course merchandise. Now, that's what's going in one direction, but Mike, these relationships have got to be symbiotic. They've got to be value for value, and one of the main values that technical partners the world over look for is to shift their merchandise to the fan base and then recoup their money. You broke it down as 100,000 US dollars per year. What are the chances that On The Ball will get their money back in your view?
Oh, Barry, it's a difficult one to answer, because just taking a look at the broader economy in Zimbabwe and the challenges that it offers. Secondly, as well, we didn't hear a lot mentioned, Barry, about the price point of the merchandise that On The Ball Sport is bringing into Zimbabwe. If we have to go by history, I think Adidas brought in their jerseys at $50. And hardly any moved off the shelf. They became a very prized asset for a few privileged individuals who could afford those jerseys. That's both Dynamos and Highlanders. In fact, most of the people that you saw at stadiums, whether it was Rufaro, National Sports Stadium, or even Emagumeni, Barberfield Stadium, wearing those jerseys were those that had actually received those gratis giveaways by sponsors and possibly the club. Very few people bought those jerseys. So the price point is something that's critical, Barry, when it comes to determining how many of those jerseys are going to be flying off the shelf. So for me, that's something that's going to have to come into the conversation. I have no doubt that the quality is going to attract the fans. The fans will certainly be satisfied about the quality, like Chris has talked about. The quality is good, the designs are good. It'll come down to whether they can actually afford them. And then secondly, there's always the issue, Barry, of, and I don't mean this in a xenophobic sense, but there's always the Chinese factory down the road that's willing and eager to produce a lot of counterfeit jerseys of Dynamos, of Highlanders, because they'll always see the gap in the market, especially if the price point is wrong. So hypothetically, they come in with a jersey that's going to be costing $35. Immediately, I think to myself, not a lot of people, the Dynamos fan base, the Highlanders fan base, they're not going to be able to afford jerseys at $35 a pop, especially if the fake Liverpool jersey, the fake Barcelona jersey, the fake Real Madrid jersey is going for $10 or $12 in town. They'd rather invest in that. So again, it comes down to the price point. What is the jersey going to cost? And will the fans be able to afford it? So it's a difficult one. And then they have to fight, like I said, the Chinese factory, which is literally down the road.
The counterfeit.
Literally down the road. And also, I think it's a cultural shift that as a brand they have to make, that traditionally these jerseys are not accessible. The consumer's not used to buying the actual replica jersey, the official replica jersey. So that cultural shift is something that they're going to need to almost teach their fan base as part of their marketing, to say, you know what, people weren't used to this, it's something we need to teach. So whether that 100,000 can be recouped in one season is going to be tricky.
Yeah, and the struggle will be that if it isn't recouped in the one season, you're already behind the 8 ball, because now you're playing catch up. So we wish them well, and we hope that they have the ability to sustain the business model that they've gone into. The great thing and the positive is that the relationship has been cemented, and Dynamos now has a technical partner on the ball, can now work on making sure that the business relationship works. Peter Chiveso, their CEO, actually said as much at the launch yesterday. So congratulations to Dynamos, and they say that Dynamos is the first of 2 local clubs that they will be sponsoring. We suspect that the other one is Highlanders, but we remain and wait to see.
Hi, I'm Clemens Matau, chicken in midfielder. You're listening to ZiFM Sports.
Your local sports news roundup starts with golf, where Zimbabwe golfers Scott Vincent and Ben Follett-Smith finished in 30th and 48th position at the Joburg Open at Rand Park Golf Club on Sunday. Vincent carded impressive rounds of 69, 67, 71 and 72 for a score of 5 under par, 279, and pocketed about €7,900. Follett-Smith, who started brightly, had rounds of 65, 72, 79 and 66 for a total of 282, and he walked away with about €3,500. In swimming news, the Bulawayo Amateur Swimming Association Provincial Championships began yesterday with the 1,500 meter freestyle event, while the rest of the action is set to take place over the next 2 weekends. The competition will be used to select swimmers that will represent the province at the national championship scheduled for February next year. Bulawayo Amateur Swimming Association Chairperson Noktula Ciprianos said swimmers are readying for the championship following action that has been taking place weekly since the resumption of the sport in September. We'll wrap it up with a bit of a housekeeping news of a sports administrative nature, where sports stakeholders say the continuous capacitation of administrators through sports management courses is key for the growth and development of sports in the country. Some of the stakeholders who undertook an advanced sports management course believe the program will help administrators and players in the sporting landscape to come up with tangible solutions to the problems bedeviling the sector.
Hi, this is Mike Madod, and you can catch me and the team for all the latest breaking news out of the world of sport, local as well as international, on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZiFM. We are Z-Team on ZiFM Sport.
Z International Sports News Roundup where the world comes out to play. From sunny Melbourne to the streets of Monaco, the deserts of Bahrain to the jungles of Brazil, get up to speed on the Formula One Report. The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoco, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoco, specialized service for special brands.
Now this week, Zimoco have some exciting news. Our Black Friday sale is on this Friday, and we have some amazing deals on a selection of vehicles. First up, of course, is the sporty 2019 Mercedes-Benz GLE 400 Coupe, which features a 3-litre V6 petrol engine with 9-speed automatic transmission. This vehicle comes with all the bells and whistles you would find on a luxury Mercedes-Benz SUV, including the AMG body styling, parking package, a driving safety assistance package, Apple CarPlay, and so much more, which is typical for a Mercedes-Benz. Now, our normal price on this vehicle is €135,000, but we're offering a special Black Friday price of €124,000, all-inclusive drive-away price. Now, that's Black Friday for you.
And now think of any adventure and the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport will take you there. It has been reduced from $65,000 to just $59,900. Another massive saving on Black Friday. It features a 2.4-litre diesel engine with 8-speed automatic transmission, easy select 4x4 off-road modes, and 7 seats to accommodate the whole family on a road trip.
But that's not it. There's more, because if you're looking for a compact SUV, then the Mitsubishi ASX is the car for you. It features a 2-litre petrol engine with 6-speed automatic transmission, and with great style, performance, safety, and tech features, plus plenty of space for friends, family, and cargo. The new ASX won't cramp your style. The all-new Mitsubishi ASX has been reduced from $39,000 to $38,000. Another Black Friday special price not to be missed. Stay tuned for so much more.
Z.
More and more Black Friday prices to come. Lots of exciting specials. But before we give you those, let's keep you updated with what's happening in the world of Formula One, where the Ferrari F1 team principal, Mattia Binotto, says his outfit's recent uplift in form is an encouraging sign about its chances of further progress in 2021. At the recent Turkish Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel finished third, while teammate Charles Leclerc's fourth place also meant Ferrari scored more points than any other team in the race. Binotto, who elected to work remotely from Maranello rather than travel to Turkey, believes that the upswing in form that Ferrari has delivered proves that the team can eke out more speed from its current car, even though Formula One's chassis rules are frozen into 2021. Now let's hear from Sebastian Vettel, who finished on the podium in Turkey, who believes that the car was flattered by the tricky track conditions.
Well, I made sure I was there, so I was closing the gap in the end, and I think in the mid part where I lost the position to Charles as well, I think I was a bit too conservative, trying to look after tires too much. I don't think it made a big difference in the end, so once I started to push, then it was a little bit better, but I was closing the gap a little bit in the last laps, and then it was obviously good enough to snatch the podium. Well, we had a rough year so far. We've mostly struggled in qualifying, and once you are back there, then it's very difficult. I think the pace in the race has always been better, but it's been in qualifying where for one or the other reason it didn't really happen, and obviously that made a big difference. So I couldn't benefit because I was in the middle of the pack rather than ahead of the pack.
Z.
Well, a contrasting take, Barry, from Sebastian Vettel, who says that the track conditions flattered Ferrari, and the team principal, Mattia Binotto, who says that we're moving in the right direction, we're getting things right.
Yeah, look, I think in each case you've got a driver who's trying to play down the prospects for Ferrari, and a team principal who's trying to, in the Zimbabwean parlance, trying to kuzvisimbisa. On Mattia Bonotto's side, you got to think to yourself, look, what have you really sorted out? You still don't have the straight line speed, as was proved in Turkey. You still don't have the downforce to be able to then get the traction that you require to make an actual push for it. So those things still need to be worked on. So in conditions where it works, like we saw a few races ago when Mercedes struggles to keep because of their huge downforce, to keep their tires in good shape, you've got a chance. But I think the performance and what we're going to see from Ferrari is going to remain patchy until we see a change of the chassis and a change of the engine rules.
Chris, with how their season have gone, even patchy improvements over the course of the next 3 races until the end of the season will be acceptable for Ferrari because they've had a really difficult time of it. And it's great to see that they've instituted, a team to actually work on trying to make sure that they get the car up to speed, or at least the car delivering on something.
I think Ferrari can look to the last 3 races of the season and say that, you know what, they've had a really horrible, in fact, majority of the season, they've had a pretty horrible time. But I think being able to finish well in the last 3 races can certainly do a lot for the team itself. And also, it's possible that Ferrari could be in the hunt for 3rd place if they do manage to place well in those last 3 races. Like you said, they've instituted an entire team who's dedicated to these tweaks and changes to ensure that they improve their performance. So I think it's a wild hunt, but I think it's possible that Ferrari could be working on possibly that 3rd place finish.
A wild hunt, but still mathematically possible, because with 3 races to go, Racing Point currently hold 3rd place on 154 points, ahead of McLaren on 149. Renault is on 136 and Ferrari is on 130. They'll be looking for big weekends ahead, Ferrari, like the one they had in Turkey, where they got 27 points between their 2 drivers, which was by far the biggest single race score for the Maranello outfit this year. Your driver standings, if they matter to some of you out there, because Lewis Hamilton is still champion. He, of course, is in 1st place, 307 points. Mercedes, followed by his teammate Valtteri Bottas, 197 points. He's in 2nd. Max Verstappen is 3rd. Sergio Perez is 4th. And Charles Leclerc is 5th. Barry, there's also the small bit of motivation for a driver like Charles Leclerc to try and at least chase down Sergio Perez of Racing Point and try and finish 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as high as Ferrari drivers and the Ferrari team can finish is a bonus for 2020. It's been wretched for them. So yes, Charles Leclerc will have that motivation. And also, if the conditions suit them like they did in Turkey and things fall into place for them, who knows?
Okay, Sebastian Vettel is in 13th place with just 33 points eked out this season. Your constructor standings, which is really where the battle is, like we were discussing with Chris. Mercedes, of course, have been crowned champions, 544 points. Red Bull is in 2nd, 240, but then it gets nice and tight from 3rd all the way down to 6th. Racing Point has got 154, McLaren 149, Renault has got 136 points, and Ferrari has got 130. The Scuderia will have an opportunity to close in on those teams ahead of them at the Bahrain Grand Prix, which is this Sunday.
Z.
All right, let's give you some more Black Friday specials out of Zimoko. Now, if you're wondering what Black Friday is all about, it has nothing to do with witchcraft or kuromba or anything like that. It actually just is a discount day, which comes after Thanksgiving in the United States, and it's spread across the world. There are Black Friday specials literally everywhere around the world, and also at Zimoko. Now, finally, let's look at the SUV with a touch of brilliance, the Haval H6. Now, the H6's allure is too difficult to grasp. It offers class-leading space in the cabin and comfort in a stylish upmarket design, along with a turbocharged 2-liter petrol engine and excellent fuel economy. The H6 manual transmission 4x2 model has been reduced from $36,000 to $34,200 US, and the automatic transmission 4x2 H6 has been reduced from $40,000 US to $38,250 for our Black Friday special sale.
Now, all the models on special offer are an all-inclusive drive-away price and come with the manufacturer's warranty and a first free service at 10,000 kilometers. This Black Friday sales special is only applicable to stock in Zimbabwe. There is limited stock, so hurry down to our Zimoko showroom, Semlevi's Village, Borodale, to get your hands on an incredible deal. This Friday, the 27th of November. You don't want to miss out. Check out our Facebook or Instagram pages for more information on pricing. Zimoko's Black Friday sale, big savings, big deals, specialized service for special brands.
The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoko, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoko, specialized service for special brands.
Hi, I'm JC Krill, Springbok and Blue Bulls backline player. You are listening to ZiFM Sports.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off in Australia, where New Zealand coach John Plumtree says All Blacks players are being deliberately provoked during practice to improve their discipline ahead of Saturday's grudge match against Argentina. Plumtree said poor self-control was a major reason why the All Blacks posted back-to-back defeats for the first time since 2011, when they succumbed to Los Pumas a fortnight ago. In news from England, according to Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic has stopped making as many good decisions as he used to on court recently. Djokovic ended the year as world number one, although he suffered a noticeable dip in form in his final two tournaments of the season in Vienna and London. That, according to Murray, is down to a breakdown in his decision-making process, which could be a result of his off-court distractions. We'll touch down in South Africa, where the Proteas are training in two groups before their limited overs matches against England to limit the risk of further coronavirus infections. 2 players have tested positive for the virus, and a further 2 have been placed into isolation. The Proteas cancelled the intra-squad warm-up games planned for Saturday and yesterday. South Africa and England will play in the first of 3 T20s on Friday, and there are 3 one-day internationals scheduled from the 4th of December. The series will be played behind closed doors in Cape Town and Paarl, with playing and training the only time the players leave their hotel.
Hi, I'm Warriors coach Zdravko Logarušić, and you are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Sports with a difference. Z. The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. All the rivalry.
Here is Harry Kane for Tottenham. Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane. Catch him if you can.
All the stars.
Oh, back here's Liverpool 2 in front. Talk about impudent. Talk about improvisation. Talk about Sadio Mane.
And all the game-changing moments.
And Raheem Sterling rattles it home. And once more, City are in front in a trice.
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
All right, let's dive into the beautiful game. Remember, later on, we are going to be talking Champions League. That thing that we all love. That's what we need to call it, because it is a thing, an actual thing. But first, let's wrap up league football, starting with England, where Theo Walcott rolled back the years with his first Southampton goal in 15 years, but was denied victory as Pedro Neto earned Wolves a 1-1 draw at Molineux. Walcott turned in Shea Adams' square ball 13 minutes after half-time to give the Saints a lead, which would have taken them within a point of lead as Tottenham and Liverpool. However, it was not enough to earn a victory, because Pedro Neto levelled with 15 minutes left. Theo Walcott, Michael, a name that we all sort of wondered where his career would go in 2006 when he was called to the England squad by Sven-Goran Eriksson. He's back where it all began and scoring for where it all began, reprising his old role as a blushing, red-faced teenager.
Yeah, I think he found success rather too quickly, Barry, and it stunted his growth and his motivation. Here's a guy who still holds the record as the youngest player to ever pull on the red or the white jumper of England at 17 years and some months. I think there are only 2 other players that have played for England at that age. The other one is Wayne Rooney, and lately Jude Bellingham He then made the big move to Arsenal, where he started off like a house on fire, and a lot of people had great hopes for Theo Walcott, but he never really sort of like kicked on to become the great player we expected him to become. And it's now come full circle. He's back at Southampton, the place where it all began. He started, in fact, last season when he was at Everton, he looked like he was getting back to a semblance of form, putting in some really decent performances, but it was patchy because it was 2 good games here, 2 games under the radar, 1 really bad game, back on the bench. Now at Southampton, he's really started his Southampton career really, really well. He's one of their go-to players in attack, and that's mainly because Southampton functions like a team. There are no star players in Southampton. There are no go-to players, and he's comfortable in that setup. He feels trusted, he feels wanted, he feels like there's not a lot of scrutiny for any mistakes made. The same scrutiny that he'd have got at Arsenal or in an England jersey, and even to a limited extent on Merseyside with Everton. So this for me is a good place for Theo Walcott to be. He scored that goal. Pity it wasn't a winning goal because Wolves found themselves an equaliser late on, but a good game for Theo Walcott, and I think Southampton is a good team for him to be at the end of his career.
It certainly is, and in truth, when we saw that goal, we'd have thought that they could have been able to hold on, Chris, but in truth, not many teams win at Molineux. Wolves has a pretty good record at home, and albeit that they didn't have an imperious figure in Connor Cody in their defence, they still found a way not to lose at home.
They still found a way not to lose at home. In fact, they've lost just 1 of their last 7 home Premier League games. Wolves is the kind of team where, especially if you're at Molineux, this is a team that'll be able to scratch out, in this case, a draw, but usually they'll be able to scratch out that win. So I think coming into this, in as much as they did concede initially, being able to claw back up and make that actual draw, I think is just testament to the team that is Wolves, especially at home.
The one area, though, for Wolves, Barry, that will slightly concern me, and maybe it's an observation that's misplaced, but I don't think they're functioning as well in attack offensively as they used to in the last couple of seasons, and I believe it's because of Diogo Jota. He's gone. Yeah. I believe that he made Raúl Jiménez especially look good. He created a lot of space for him. He made the right runs, the perfect runs for Jimenez to become effective, because how then do you explain that even though Neto has come in and players of that ilk who are playing decently well, Podence is playing decently well, but Jimenez has gone off the boil. He was such a regular source of goals that people were talking him up. People were linking him to Juventus. People were linking him to Chelsea. People were linking him to Manchester United. He was one of the most talked about centre forwards in English football. And yet right now, people are even questioning whether he merits a place in the starting lineup. So something isn't working offensively, and I believe it's because Diogo Jota has left for Liverpool, and they're going to have to find players who will be able to bring the best out of Raúl Jiménez.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, Mike, because pundits are now trying to make it seem as if it was Adama Traore who was out of the side and coming in as a substitute. Well, they both started last night and it still didn't fire. So I'd agree with you that the missing Diogo Jota, who's moved on to let's say higher climbs in the shape of Liverpool, him missing from that squad is certainly doing Raúl Jiménez a little bit down. In other results last night, Burnley finally got their Premier League campaign up and running, securing their first win of the season with a 1-0 victory over Crystal Palace.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day. Where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wanted!
Let's get you updated with what's happening in Spain. Athletic Club of Bilbao have extended their La Liga winning run at San Mamés to 3 straight games with a 4-0 victory over Real Betis. Gaisca Garitano's side have now moved up to 8th in the table after picking up a comfortable 3 points over Manuel Pellegrini's visitors. The Basque side, of course, ahead inside the first 10 minutes as Azaya Villalibre Molina's cross was bizarrely deflected home by Betis ace defender Victor Ruiz. Barry, they never looked back from that start. Just the sort of start that you need in a game of this nature, and they were able to capitalize and close this one out comfortably.
Absolutely, and look, it's St. Mames is one of those difficult venues to go to. You're not going to get much from there, so a draw is always a good result. And when the Athletic Club gets the start that they got, like they did last night, then look, you're behind the 8 ball. So for me, I think the result is emblematic of the start that Athletic Club got.
They're in mid-table, Chris, and that's mainly because, they've been having markedly different results. When they play away from home, they tend to lose away from home. But at least the one thing that they're doing is making sure that they pick up a full set of 3 points whenever they play at home. And that should keep them in the relative comfort of mid-table.
Definitely, and it'll definitely keep them somewhere within mid-table, and that's because if you can pick up the wins where you can, which is for them, I think they've actually probably noticed that they're picking up these wins at home. If they can have that kind of consistency and almost make their home a little fortress in order to get those 3 points every single time they play at home, I think they'll be able to comfortably stay within mid-table.
Yeah, absolutely, because just taking a look at the table, if it was just for away matches, Athletic Club of Bilbao would be sitting right at the bottom of La Liga with just the 3 points from 5 matches on the road so far, having scored just 3 goals. So their home form is key to them staying afloat in La Liga. Just taking a look at the standings in La Liga, as far as the big boys are concerned, Atletico Madrid are chasing Real Sociedad, who are at the top. Atletico Madrid are in second with 20 points. But remember, Diego Simeone's side have got 2 games in hand as they've played just 8 matches. Real Madrid are in fourth with 17 points, and Barcelona are in the lowly position of 13, though they have 2 games in hand.
Neymar, Mbappé, Depay, and now Tino Kadewere enjoys a taste of the French football on a ZiFM Sport.
It's a Tuesday, so of course we take you into France, where Lyon coach Rudy Garcia's forward Tino Kadewere is starting to show his true predatory qualities in Ligue 1. Kadewere scored his 3rd league goal in the last 2 matches for Olympique Lyon to power them to a 1-0 victory over a battling Angers on Sunday night. Barry, we're seeing Tino Kadewere really cement his position in this team and get those goals, which is what he was brought into the team to do. And we're seeing a consistent progression, and Rudy Garcia is going to be relying on him a lot more.
He certainly is, and in truth, there was 3 of the easiest positions to measure in terms of metrics on the field of play. Obviously, your goalkeeper with clean sheets, defenders with clean sheets, strikers with goals. If you play and you score, you're bound to get a lot more game time. Look, it's a big squad, lots of competitions to play, so I don't think he's going to play every single game, but certainly he's in the reckoning now and is definitely part of the main squad that's going to be performing. So that's great news for Tino Kadewere, because I think everybody thought that it was going to end badly when he went to Olympique Lyon, and he was going to be just a squad player used for a bit part role. But I think he's definitely part of that main squad. And you can see it even with how he's been received by the rest of the squad, received by the club. And it's good news for him.
Mike, we've seen Tino Kadewere obviously perform for Lyon in France, but we've also seen him in terms of playing for Zimbabwe. He's also put up some good performances, most recently in the AFCON qualifier in Algiers. We can see Tino Kadewere making that progression, but in terms of his Zimbabwean performances, does he become that player that almost forms the tip of the arrow for Zimbabwe?
We're hoping he does, because if you can cut it in Ligue 1, if you can cut it at a club like Lyon, and in the process, keeping out some of the more experienced Lyon attackers out of the starting 11, then we hope that you'll be able to bring that to Zimbabwe. But the only problem is usually when it comes to a comparison between club form and international form is that systems differ. So a club could play in a certain way, and then the national team plays in a totally different way. You were talking about him being the tip of the arrow for the Warriors, but at Lyon, he's not the tip of the arrow. He's actually playing wide of attack. almost as an auxiliary winger. And so that for me is the difference between Tino Kadewere playing at Lyon and Tino Kadewere playing for Zimbabwe. But the one thing that we hope he does bring is goals, because Zimbabwe certainly does need the goals up front. Between him and Prince Dube, I think we got two players that are bang on form at their club sides, and we hope that they'll be able to deliver in international football.
Hi, my name is Rune Shamba, Mytoria's super striker. You're listening to ZiFM Sports.
All right, as advertised and as promised, it's UEFA Champions League. Action returns tonight, and it's groups E through H that are in action tonight, and it's Krasnodar taking on Sevilla, Rennes versus Chelsea. That's Group E. In Group F, Borussia Dortmund host Club Brugge, while Lazio entertain Zenit St. Petersburg. In Group G, Dynamo Kiev will entertain Barcelona, while Juventus take on Ferencvaros. While in Group H, it's Paris Saint-Germain taking on RB Leipzig, and Manchester United will take on Istanbul Başakşehir, and their manager, that's Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, conceded his side can't afford another off night against Istanbul Başakşehir if they are to reach the Champions League last 16. United got off to a brilliant start in Group H with wins over two of last season's Champions League semi-finalists, that's Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig. However, 2-1 defeat in Turkey 3 weeks ago has put the pressure back on when Başakşehir visit Old Trafford tonight, and they're going to a venue that hasn't been a happy hunting ground, at least so far, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's get his pre-match thoughts.
Well, you know that when you go away to Turkish, the Turkish champion, you know that's going to be a difficult game anyway. We have experienced that at Man United a few times before, so nothing unexpected there. But the level of concentration needs to be better. We know that the two goals we conceded on bad breakaways and counter-attacks, and one or two other moments as well, we caused our own problems with our organisation when we had the ball. So we need to be more patient in our approach, not patient in our approach, but more disciplined in our positioning, because any little lack of concentration and they're off and running, and the first goal obviously was the worst goal to concede. The second goal as well was a counter-attack. So and then we've looked at the game and looked at other ways that we should break him down, of course.
The Theatre of Dreams is the moniker for Old Trafford, Mikey, but in truth, without fans there, it's proving a bit of a theatre of nightmares in some occasions, because teams don't have the fear factor anymore, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely, Barry. Playing in an empty stadium has become the great equalizer. But United will be happy that they turned a corner somewhat this past weekend when they beat West Bromwich Albion, courtesy of that penalty by Bruno Fernandes. They've got a 1-0 victory, 3 points, their first set of 3 points at Old Trafford. They'll be hoping that they'll be able to carry that sort of form into the Champions League. They battered West Bromwich Albion, 1-0 flatters West Bromwich Albion. By half-time, they should have been well and truly over the hills and far away Manchester United, but the West Bromwich Albion goalkeeper had the game of his life. They'll be hoping that they're able to put the visiting Turks to the sword at Old Trafford, and then give themselves a really, really great opportunity, not just for qualifying to the next phase of the Champions League, but also finishing top of their group, because PSG are playing RB Leipzig at the same time. So one or both of those teams are going to drop points. So it's the perfect scenario for Manchester United, only if they get 3 points. If they don't, it means that the Turks are back in the picture, and then you've got PSG or RB Leipzig breathing down their necks. So it might be a bit tetchy for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if he doesn't get all 3 points tonight.
Well, two things that Mike is confirming there. The first one, Chris, is that this is the game for United. The second one is that United seems to have sorted out its attacking quagmire, whereby they are now creating chances. If those chances are taken, they score goals. Now, the issue against Istanbul Başakşehir here in that first tie of theirs was not necessarily the attack, it was more the defense. The defense was atrocious. They'll need to defend a lot better if they're going to keep them out tonight.
They'll definitely need to defend a lot better than they did in their last encounter. But the thing about Manchester United, and I think especially in a competition like the Champions League, is that they haven't found a way. I'm going to put it that way. They haven't found the new Manchester United way of doing things. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't have a formula. So when it comes to situations like this, and as much as we can say they probably should take a look at that defense, it's not necessarily the only thing that they're going to need to fix going into an encounter like this.
Mike, Chris says that they haven't found a way, and we probably can understand what she's saying, but the naysayers will snap back and say 5-0 against RB Leipzig, that's the way.
Yeah, but I think what Chris is trying to say is that there's been a lot of inconsistency from Manchester United because you smash RB Leipzig and then you return to England, you play a weaker team, and then you lose. You beat PSG, you come back to England, you lose to Arsenal, who are sort of like struggling to find their feet. So that is sort of like the reason why I believe maybe Chris is talking about United not having a system, not having a way. Because if there's a system and there is a clearly defined way, it means that you are able to get on a run of consistent results, consistent performances where you know the teams, or should I say the fans actually know how United plays, where, it's almost like with the good teams, with Bayern Munich, you know how they're going to come at you. You know who the goal threats are, but you just can't stop it because the system is that good, it's that efficient. And so that's what we are looking for from United, to say, you know what is the root, or what is the source of their victories and their good performances? For me, when a team is getting over the line because they've won a penalty, what happens in games where you don't get the penalties, where you don't get the shouts? Bruno Fernandes, over 50% of his goals are from the penalty spot. And yet people are talking about, his goal contributions for Manchester United. But they're penalties. Start showing me a systematic way of performing and playing where you are scoring goals from open play, and then we'll say, okay, you know what, United is going somewhere. Right now, even tonight, if United fans want to be honest, they don't even know what to expect.
So what is the Manchester United way? That's a question that you can respond to us on social media at ZiFM Sport. If you know it, tell us what it is at ZiFM Sport, or at Mike Madoda, at Chris Meadsy, at Barry Manandi, at Shonta Firenika, at Gazaman14. Let us know, what is the Man United way? Predictions, people, very quickly, Michael.
I'm going to go with Manchester United 2-0. I hope they don't disappoint me,
Chris.
I've backed them.
Will you be disappointed is the question.
Well, to be honest, I backed them the last time out against Arsenal, and I was slightly disappointed from a professional point of view, because I thought they had the form. I thought they were looking good in Europe, and I thought, you know what, they'll have too much. Playing at Old Trafford versus an Arsenal side that didn't look like it had goals in them. Aubameyang was struggling, and then they lost to that Arsenal side. So now I'm saying, okay, they're going to beat the Turks, but they beat Istanbul Başakşehir. They lost to Istanbul Başakşehir in Turkey. So that's why I'm saying I don't know. United, if they play to their best, should be too good for this Turkish side.
So 2-0 for Mike. Chris?
I don't fancy the Manchester United defense, and I think they'll let a goal slip through. So I'm going to go 2-1 win for Manchester United.
2-1 win. So Manchester United to score 2 by the studio pundits. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Manchester United, and likely from the penalty spot. That's all we have time for, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for Equi Wednesday. Don't miss it. For now, may God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.
And it's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
The biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.